That out because that looks stupid. All right, start streaming. All right, and we should be live. Welcome to another live stream here. Typical Wednesday live stream that we do every other Wednesday right now. We are live streaming both on Instagram and YouTube, and I'm just gonna go make sure we are live because you never know. Just never know. So, how's everybody doing? Let's see who we have here in the chat. We got a couple of things. Well, one, I'm going to be taking some questions from you guys, as always. And it looks like, yeah, we are in fact live. Let me just mute that before. Okay, there we go. All right, so cool. What's up, Scottish Aquatics? What up, Baden? How's it going, guys? And yeah, we're good. So it's been like 2 weeks. Had a hectic last couple weeks because of sales and all that we were running, but we are, pretty much through that. And yeah, so I have a box here that I actually want to unbox on camera because this is actually for a future build here that we're doing. It's for this actually cube tank here behind me, and I have it blocked out because it's not looking too good. It needs to be kind of redone because all the wood and stuff broke. And so yeah, so I have an order here. It's from Glass Box Tropicals, and it's for some interesting plants. What's up? I think it's Michael and Damien. So let's see. You got your supplies. Now get some artwork. Use code GlassBox. Oh, for 15% off. Not bad. Take a look at that later. So let's see what we got in here. I forgot what I ordered. What time is it here? Oh, we're about an hour later than we normally stream. That's because I had to, Margaret worked late and I had to go pick her up from the city. So I'm just going to throw this on the floor for right now. Let's see. Okay, so here's one plant. Let's see. Okay. So it's a little fern plant here. Forgot what I ordered exactly, so I don't remember the names. So I apologize. Okay. Do I ship to Australia? No, unfortunately, I only ship to the United States. But yeah. Hi, I am a fan. Oh. I'm a fan from Brazil. Do you have a special particular... Wait, what? Do you have a special... Don't... I'm confused. So yeah, so I forgot what I ordered. I don't know if they included an order slip, but I ordered a couple plants. Here I have the nerve plant. So this is a really interesting plant. It, as you can see there, it has... green and white white veins and green leaves, which is really cool. Let's see. What else we got in here? Oh, this is a begonia here, I believe. So it's a little, forget what type of begonia it is, but it's a little begonia nonetheless. Woo something Tang says, hey Justin, I got some dwarf four-leaf clover from you about a month ago. They are giving off some runners, but not growing as quickly as I expected. Well, so that could be a number of different things. They do grow slower with, if you don't have a lot of, like if you don't have CO2, they will grow obviously slower. But they don't need CO2 to grow. They could grow just fine without it. Now, I mean, that's going to depend on your light and whatnot. So if they're growing a bit slower, I would say that's fine. As long as they're putting off runners, they'll keep growing quicker and quicker the more they spread out. And then eventually, once you have a lot going on, you could just start trimming them and then they'll set out side shoots and stuff. Let's see. So I have this. I forget what this is. This is a type of peperomia. It's a really tiny plant in there, tiny green circles. What else? I got one more plant, and then I got something else in here. Ah, this plant. This is one that I was super excited to see. Okay, so let's go over the last thing in the box. This is Hydrolon. It is a type of wicking fabric, and basically, like you could tie it to things, and if you have things growing up out of the tank, and that's going to give you hints for what I'm working on, it will actually wick the water up the fabric here. So it aids in that kind of thing. So that's a hint on what I'll be working on here. But this is a really cool little plant here. It resembles a sensitive plant. If anybody's familiar with a sensitive plant, it resembles that. It also resembles almost like a palm tree type thing, and it's just a super tiny palm that will grow in humid environments and whatnot. So yeah, so we got these plants here we're going to be using in in a future project, so I'm really stoked about that. I like this this little begonia that I ordered. Yeah, ordered a couple things. Let's see. Rose31, hi Joseph, I'm not getting sound on FB. Is that me or you? Is anybody getting, well, on Instagram, I guess? Is anybody getting sound on Instagram? Sorry, your sound is great. Oh, okay. For the dwarf four-leaf clover, how long will it take for the long strands coming up from the middle to completely die off? No trimming it at all? No, you pretty much don't trim it at all. Just let them fade as they go along. And it would take probably about 6 weeks or so. Mine started to really brown up in this tank after about 3 weeks, and then we cut them off at the 4-week mark just because they were already well established. And yeah, so. Absent-minded says, some of my Ludwigi weapons turned to mush from my order that came in yesterday. If it did come from us, absent-minded, just shoot me an email. We'll normally cover it, within 24 hours. I know sometimes, like if a plant usually melts within 24 hours, like completely mush and there's nothing left, odds are it got heat damaged. I mean, it was hot, so it's to be, somewhat not as expected, but, we know that things happen. So if that happened, just shoot us an email or Facebook message or anything like that, and we'll work it out with you. Is there a CO2 regulator that you recommend that doesn't break the bank? Well, I got this one back here that I'm using for this system from Amazon. I forget what it was. It was like a $60. Let me see if I can pull it up here. It was like a $60 thing, so it wasn't that expensive. But it really depends on the tank size. Like I got a 20-pound tank, and I'm pretty sure it could fit anything down to anything other than like a paintball. Let me see if I can find this CO2. Yeah, so this is okay. Here we go. I will link it. I will link it in the chat here. So let me just bring it up. Come on, Amazon. Okay, here we go. Here, I'm gonna link it through my my Amazon affiliate. If you wouldn't mind helping me out, if you do purchase it through that link, it gives me credit for it and gives me a little something, something. But that is the regulator that I'm using for this. It's a little tiny one. I mean, it's cheap. It's $60. You really can't go wrong with it. So far, so good. I haven't had any issues with it. Seems to be working. The only thing that worries me is when my timer turns on. You hear this really loud clinking, click sound when the regulator turns on. My other one doesn't do that, but I don't really know. I've had it for like 2 months, so I don't know if it's gonna be anything that I should worry about. So Let's see. Sebastian says, how good or bad is the Asta 20, mate? Do you recommend it for a 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter tank or 27 liters? So this is, what is this? This is, if I remember correctly, this is the 12 by 12 by 12 that the Asta light is on. I have another cube behind me, which is a 16 by 16, so 30 by 30 is twice the size of that. The Asta 20, I don't think would be good for that size tank. Or no, I'm sorry. This is a 30 centimeter tank, right? Because I'm thinking inches. This is a 12-inch tank. And I believe that's 30 centimeters, if I remember. Yeah, so for 30, yeah, all right, so for a 30 centimeter, I was thinking you meant inches. For a 30 centimeter tank, yeah, it'd be fine. If you have anything bigger, I would recommend probably the next step up from the Asta 20. I think they have an Asta 120 or something like that, which is fine. So I'm hungry, man. Me too. I got my bottle of Gold Peak tea here because Margaret gets mad at me when I leave this much left in the bottle in the fridge. I do it just to annoy her now because she always gets mad at me, and I'm like, oh, I'll drink it. But I am hungry. I haven't eaten dinner yet because I had to run and grab her from the city, so that was an hour out of my night. Love your channel. How can mine be like that? I mean, my channel's, I mean, you guys seem to like it. I'm my own worst critic. I guess that really comes to anybody. And I mean, it's just persistence. You put out content that you think people will want, or that people will enjoy, or that you like, or that you feel is missing. And that's kind of like why I'm doing this whole, like, I haven't like named it like a series, but it's almost like a back to basics type series where I'm like answering very simple, very easy questions, almost that most of us or some of us would consider common sense, but at the same time you got to realize there's so many new people getting involved in plants that don't have this knowledge even at the basic level. And so I feel like if I provide them with that answer in a direct, like, you can easily search for that, like, what should I do when it comes to this? It allows those people to have an easier time coming into the hobby, because a lot of people, they make like a lot of tutorials are like a 20-30 minute long tutorial or like a 10-minute tutorial, and they have a whole lot of filler in there, where I feel like I'm making more precise videos where it's like, okay, you have this question, how to do this, here's the simple answer. As short as it is, it doesn't really lend itself to YouTube sometimes because YouTube preferences longer content, but it just gets the answer out there in front of people quicker, and I feel like that's what I like to do. But it's just a matter of time. Like, we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary. It's been 2 years of work, and so it just takes some time. And really, it's only about a year into YouTube, because I started last year when at Reefapalooza, when I hung out with Joey, because I was having issues doing videos. I had an editor, but then he didn't want to edit anymore, so then I was forced to kind of do it. Then I was live streaming a lot, and it was difficult for me to edit because I just was really strapped for time. When I saw how Joey filmed his videos, and then when I saw the final product when it was done, I realized that I was making it overcomplicated, and how easy it can really be. So that kind of lended itself to making videos that I can edit in a reasonable amount of time, although for the last like 3 weeks we've been so busy and I haven't been able to crank out as many videos as I like, but I am at least doing one a week, which is important. So yeah, so persistence, it's key. What brand name is the clip light on the tank on your left shoulder? What are your thoughts on its performance? So I will link that too. They're my Amazon affiliates, if you don't mind. Listen, if I'm gonna promote it, I want to at least get some credit for it, but let's see. I think, where is it? That's the marine version. We want this version. This is the freshwater version. So it's called an Asta 20. I will link it in the chat. The Asta 20, so far in my opinion, is a pretty decent light. I have it on, I had it on 3 of the tanks. This one is broken. I actually have the replacement. Broken glass. I have the replacement over here. I actually have to install here soon, but there's so much broken glass in here that I need to do it very carefully. So it's working great on this. It's growing four-leaf clover. It's growing anubis. It's growing bucephalandrid. It's growing bulbitis. It's growing some moss. I do have CO2 kicking on it. I have it over on another tank that's growing pond plants and other kind of plants, and it's growing great there. So those were good. It was also growing the stem plant, moss balls, and Monte Carlo in here. So in my short review, I really like it. It's a good price point. It's a really, affordable light, and I got the results that I was looking for. With that said, I don't know if it'll grow the hardest and demanding plants. Like the tank behind me here, I have tons of more difficult stem plants that I don't think would be able to grow with that light on it. So if you're just looking for something that's really easy, that's cost effective, that isn't gonna be able to grow regular plants, nothing too crazy, definitely go with it. Like even the boost is colored up nicely, so that's a good indication. What kind of stone is in the corner tank behind you? It looks great. So that's actually a bit of a spoiler. Is it this one here or this one over here? Because there's two different types of stone there. I don't know which one you're referring to. Jeff said, "I will buy it through you." Thank you. Appreciate it. What's a good way to bulk up stems on a stem plant like Scarlet Temple? Well, Scarlet Temple, so that's the one plant. Well, there's a couple different plants that are similar to it, but Scarlet Temple and other plants like that typically have a very vertical growth, they don't send out side shoots as much as, say, Rotala or Ludwigia does. Rotala and Ludwigia like shoot out side shoots like crazy, so it's really easy to bulk them up. But just constant trimming. The more you trim the plant, the more it's going to get aggravated and shoot out side shoots. It also inhibits it either inhibits or enables a hormone that tells the plant to start branching out. So it's one of those, I forget the exact terminology, but the more you trim the top of the plant, the more it's going to shoot out. Also, is there any good CO2 regulator for a paintball tank that's cheaper than any Aquatech? Sebastian, message us on Instagram. Jake will be able to see it. Jake helps me answer some of the Instagram questions also, and he actually uses something. I know I should know it because I've asked him like several times what he uses, but he actually uses one, and he knows all the ins and outs of it. So he would be the best person to ask for a paintball one. I've never used it, so I don't want to steer you wrong. But yeah. On a side note, the Red River floaters I also received look nice, awesome. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, Ludwigia or really any aquarium plant it's very fragile when shipping in extreme temperatures. So a lot of times we'll hold packages if we think that the temperature is not good enough. But even then, even if we ship it out because the temperatures look good, if they sit in the back of a mail truck, it's like you got to think of like when you see those stories of like people leaving their dogs or the kids in the car on a hot day. I think it's 75 degrees outside. It'll raise the inside of the car temperature within 15 minutes to like 90 some degrees if all the windows are closed. So you gotta look at a mail truck, right? If they load the mail on in the morning, and let's just say your outside temperature is 80 degrees, and they for some reason keep their windows up while maybe they're going down the block or something, and within a half hour that temperature will raise greatly. So no matter what we do, even if we ice pack it and insulate it, it could still heat up dramatically, which will then cook the plants essentially. So that's why, like, I know when people say, hey, my plant came in mushy, I don't disagree with them. I'm like, yep, I know it's hot out, that's a possibility, we'll get you new ones, don't worry, and we'll try again. And that's why we have our DOA policy, because I know that things happen, and I know plants, and I know there really is no way to guarantee 100% that the plant is going to arrive in good shape when it comes to aquarium plants. House plants and other types of plants are a bit different because they're more durable, but aquarium plants are super sensitive to temperature fluctuations, and that's why we have our policy like that. So yeah. What light would you recommend for a low light plants a tank? Well, that could depend on the size of the tank. It could depend on what kind of plants you're going to grow. And all that. So, I mean, on a shallow tank, if it's anything maybe like, I would say probably 20 gallons or lower, I would recommend the Asta lights that I linked down below. Those are pretty good for that. If you're going to go with maybe a larger tank, I would say a fluval light is pretty good. And the fluval light might seem like overkill because a lot of people say, oh, it's a highlight light. In my eyes, it's more of a medium light. It grows plants, but there are some plants it will not grow, or at least I can't grow, so it could either be the light or the water conditions. And yeah, so the fluval 2.0s or 3.0s are pretty decent, so yeah. I want to do a shout out for shout out. Nope, we don't do that. If you want your audience, you have to grow it. That's the thing. You can give shout outs all day long, but if you're not producing quality content, nobody's gonna stick around anyway, and the shout out's useless. And then when I shout out people, so like this is the thing. Like if I was to shout out everybody that asked, it would become less effective, and nobody would go check out those people because those people need to be producing quality content. Look at Tank Tested. Tank Tested is a beautiful aquarium channel. I think he's surpassed me in subs, and he's got way more views now, but he only produces the video like once every 2 weeks or something like that because they're so well done that he can do that way, and he doesn't have to ask for a shout out, but because I think that his content is so good that I always shout it out when it comes out because I think it's a really cool video production that he does. So yeah. What's the easiest carpeting? Oh, wait. Do you know if there's any LED that's similar to Twin Star quality but also way cheaper? I hear the Nicrew are. They're decent. The Astas are pretty good. But they're not... I don't think they make a bar light. There's one other brand too, I think. They're Nicrew and something else. Somebody was having decent luck with. Honestly, like the Twin Stars, they're beautiful lights. They work exactly how you expect, and they do their job. So, I mean, they're a little bit pricey, but you're paying for quality. What's the easiest carpeting plant? I would say a dwarf four-leaf clover. I would also say dwarf sedge, Monte Carlo, microsword. We did a top 5 easiest carpeting plants, so you could check that out, and I'll tell you. Water Forest Planted Aquariums with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. We don't get many of those. I don't really ask for them because I'd much rather you spend money on our website because I don't like handouts for free, and I like when you get something in return. So it's very much appreciated, though. And he says, just appreciate you answering thoroughly. You're very welcome. I try to do in-depth answers, and yeah. So we got some questions going on Instagram, guys. If I don't get to you, it's because we have a ton of questions on YouTube. If you want to join us on YouTube, youtube.com/H2O Plants. You can check us out there. What's the easiest ground cover for a beginner to grow? We've just gone over that. Four-leaf clover is by far my favorite one. I've done a video on particularly that plant specifically, and I've also done my top 5 carpeting plants. So I would check out both those videos. If you still have questions, feel free to message me. Instagram, anything like that. I have jungle val in my pond, but it's brown. It's not a mushy melting brown. It's just been in there for 2 months and just started growing good. Any idea what's going on with it, and will it turn green? Wooly, what type of jungle val is it that you got, and did you get it from us? Because if it's jungle val, we only sell ruby red, which if you have it in a pond, it's getting direct sunlight most likely, and that's going to turn a brownish red color because under good light, it turns red. So that's very possible. If you didn't get it from us, then I'm not entirely sure which species of val it is. And sometimes jungle val, I've ordered it before, typical jungle val, and it'll come in actually looking brown. And that's just sometimes how it's grown in certain conditions. So I was asking about the white stone in the tank behind you on your shoulder. Oh. So this is, which one is this? Hold on, I gotta remember here. This is Ancient Pagoda Stone. We have it on the website now too. I think there's a couple select packages, unless those all got sold, and then we also have bulk stone. It's a really amazing stone. I haven't revealed this tank yet. It will hopefully be the video this Sunday. I do have to get around to editing it, how we set this one up, but it's one of my favorite stones that we got in next to the stone that I used in the cube here. It's absolutely amazing. So I definitely recommend it. Oh, we got a bunch more questions here. Okay. The little nano to your left has any fishes? Would love to see ember tetras in it. This one, not yet. We haven't added anything into it just yet. Currently trying to figure out if we're gonna add fish to any of these or not. So, Justin, when will water lettuce be back in stock? Right now, the floaters are probably going to be a couple weeks because what happened downstairs actually is we wound up having an aphid problem on the floaters. So any tank with duckweed or any tank with plants that were floating on the surface, we're getting aphids. And aphids, they're a nuisance insect. They won't really kill a plant unless they're left unchecked. So as long as you're doing something about them, they really can't kill a plant. And especially like floating plants, they multiply so quickly. It's really like you would have to literally sit there and do nothing for them to really do something. But we've been treating them with a spray. We've actually been spraying them with 1 part water, 1 part alcohol, and like a teaspoon of dish soap right on top of the aquarium. It hasn't been harming the fish. The fish have been fine. I haven't tried it on any of the shrimp tanks, but they don't really have any floating plants anyway. So we've been treating the tanks that have the aphid problem with that spray to kill them and try and keep their numbers in check. And I think it's just because it probably got warm out. The basement's humid, obviously. There's plants there. Aphids are a sap-sucking insect, so they basically bite into the plant and suck out liquids through the plant. In house plants, it could kill them if left, if you don't do anything about them, much like aquarium plants, but for the most part, it will really take a lot of them to do something. So the floating plants were the biggest target of them and anything that was floating in the aquariums, because we had some lilies that were that their foliage was at the top or whatever. So we've been spraying them and whatnot, and I think I've eliminated all of them, but I still don't want to sell any of the floating plants until I know that they're completely gone, because I don't want somebody to have to sit there and deal with them. So that's why we haven't sold them in I think probably 2 or 3 months now. Thanks, that stone looks awesome. You're welcome, Rose. Let's see. Who gave this a thumbs down? Best source for live plants. Well, thank you, Alluring Betas. I appreciate that. Whoever gave it a thumbs down, there's always going to be that one person that wants to break the streak. It's okay. But if everybody out there hits that like button, then you off-weigh that one person that hit the dislike button. So there you go. For little tanks, do you prefer an inline heater or a common one? Well, all the ones in this room I'm actually not using a heater on because we have central air conditioning and heating. This room stays between growing temperatures and reasonable temperatures. It doesn't get too hot, it doesn't get too cold, so the tanks are completely fine. With that said, in the winter, sometimes it could drop. If it does look like it's going to be a little cold in here, I will adjust it and put some heaters in there. Did you bathe my daughter? Mm-hmm. Let me see her. Bring her here. Bring her here. She hasn't made an on-camera appearance in a while. With her little hood. Oh, here we go. Boop. And baby Nova is in the house. She's getting big. I think last time she was on the live stream, she was still mad small. Say hi. Can you say hi? Don't pull my beard. Now all the dogs wants to come in. What is all this? What happened? Mommy gave you a bath? What? What? What happened? What happened? Hey, you. Okay. Be like Lion King. Oh, Simba! Got her?
Yeah, when you don't come straight up, I need a shower.
Okay. So yeah, for little tanks, inline heater or regular ones, I'd probably use just regular ones. Inline heaters are fine, but I don't know, that's a lot of figuring out what size tubing that this has and all that, and it'd probably be better. It's honestly better if you're doing aquascape, so maybe I would use inline heaters just because I don't typically. But yeah. How do you maintain a carpet? Do you trim it? Or, well, it depends on the type of plant. So like 4-leaf clover, because it shoots up a petiole and then the leaf forms on the petiole and it's not a stem plant. It's a rhizome plant. If you were to trim the leaf off of that petiole, that is essentially a dead stem of that, or the petiole. It's now dead because it won't produce another leaf in its place. And it'll just continue producing its runners going across. So you can trim it. It just will kill that particular portion of it because it won't be able to photosynthesize. When it comes to like Monte Carlo, you can trim it, like crazy because it's a stem plant. It likes to be trimmed. Stargani repens, you could trim also. That's a stem plant. Dwarf sedge, it's a rosette plant. So if you were to trim its leaves across, you're actually damaging all the leaves, much like this. And in which case they'll all eventually melt away and you'll get new leaves that come up from the middle of it. The best way to trim a dwarf sedge is really to remove the outer leaves, but let's be real here. If you had a carpet of it, you're not going to do that because it's, crazy time consuming. So really, yeah, just trim it is one of the best ways. But we're all, did I do a video on it? I don't remember. I think I had it in my list of videos to do, how to maintain a carpet. Or I might not have done it, so I gotta check. Later, Damien. Also, something really important, how do you dose ferts to your tanks, mate? Well, I don't dose anything to these tanks yet. These tanks have good nutrient content in their soil, so that's roughly good for about 3 months. After that, I will start looking at how the plants are growing, and then I will dose accordingly. I ordered it from somewhere else. This is going back to the Jungle Val, and I believe it was the standard Jungle Val. It did come in brown at the top. I thought it was dying, so I'm just glad it's growing now. Yeah, so as long as you see new growth, you're completely fine. If you didn't see my my most recent video regarding aquarium plants and whatnot, watch that. It'll explain. You just want to leave plants be, let them do their thing. Are you gonna have more Boost Wavy Green in stock soon? I don't think not this week. Maybe next week I'll order some, or I'll order some other types of boosts. My supplier has it. We're trying to really organize the aquariums so that way we're not. I feel like we're wasting a lot of plants. We'll order a ton of them and we'll sell a lot, but we'll also have a lot of waste. So a lot of things that melt back or that is unsellable. So I'm really trying to figure out. Say we're ordering 30 of something, but really we only sell 10 a week, so we have 20 that sit there, and we maybe sell another 10, but then 10 go to waste. So I'm trying to say, okay, well, if we only need 10 a week, let's order 12 or 14 to cover whatever our maybe incidentals are with shipping issues or anything like that, and that should be enough versus ordering 30 and wasting all that money in plants. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish. So I'm trying to really cut down on ordering as much stuff right now until we organize all the tanks and have everything ready. We're almost there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 more tanks to finish, and we've been so busy with the orders. We haven't really been able to finish them. So. That's an interesting method to treat aphids. I'm used to trying to avoid them for my Drosera plants. Yeah, well, aphids actually, would they attack? Do they attack? I think I read somewhere they don't, or the sundew, something with the sundew, maybe they don't catch them or something. But yeah, the Dawn soap and the alcohol kills the aphids, and so far as my testing goes, and knock on wood, I'm not going to say everybody's aquarium is going to be this way, but it's been fine for me. I probably wouldn't have tried it if I had discus because they're super sensitive. I definitely wouldn't have tried it. I would have taken everything out of the aquarium and or taken the discus out of the aquarium, put them in a holding tank, and then sprayed everything. Or shrimp. I wouldn't do it on a shrimp tank, although I did try it on the 55, and so far, my shrimp have been fine for the most part. So like tonight's content, give it a thumbs up. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, buddy, when will you get some Pogo Steamin' Hell Fairy? Not until I can grow a bunch out, and right now it's not on my list of things to do just because it's so difficult for me to grow it out currently. So I don't know if I'll have it for a while. I can get tissue cultures, but that's like once a month that I order from that supplier. So what are the easiest carpeting plants? We've done this. I've gone over this beta, and go back and check out my top 5 easiest carpeting plants. You'll get a whole video on it. She's so cute. Thank you. Hi Nova. Hi cute Nova. Thank you. She's the next aquascaping generation. that she is. We were watching actually the Green Machine earlier. I had her on the couch, and she was actually paying attention to the TV. I don't know if it was the guy's voice or not, but she really liked it. What's the best substrate to plant in? Really anything, as long as you put nutrients in it. So you could do sand, just put nutrients like root tabs. You could do like a contra soil, which we have here, or aqua soil or anything like that. Equally as good. So, could you use Bacopa as a carpeting plant if you kept it trimmed lower? You could, but you'd have a really difficult time. But you essentially could. You can use most stem plants as carpeting plants, but it's, yeah. Catfish is in the house. It's been a long time since I've tuned into a live stream. I have a question, by the way. Can you give me some tips on growing dwarf hairgrass? Well, I'm currently growing some of my own, and really the only tip that I could give you is plant it and leave it be. Spread it out when you first get it, divide it into a bunch of little clumps, spread them out, and that would be the best thing that you could do. Amazonia, Contra Soil, or Tropica? So I've been using Amazonia downstairs for the blue ball tank. Works phenomenal. The blue bolts are doing great. I'm using Contra Soil currently, and I have not tried Tropica, although I've heard good things. Can you speak about the secret to keep Hygropenophyta healthy? So that's a tricky plant. It likes a lot of nutrients. It's a big nutrient hog. It can be tied to rocks and driftwood, stuff like that, and I don't believe it likes like a sandy substrate because its roots, it's almost like an Aphidite plant. It likes to have its roots in very loose soil or whatnot. Octonation wants to join our live stream on Instagram. Unfortunately, we're live streaming on YouTube, so we're going to have to say no to you, Octonation, right now. Thanks for answering. I just got into aquatic plants this year. I want to stock my pond plant with plants from you next year. Nice. Yeah, we're going to have pond plants. We're pretty much almost out of them for the season now. I think we have a couple more left. We may be auctioning them off on our Facebook page, kind of like we'll start the bid at $1 and people can comment and, you know, whatever it sells for, it sells for. But next March is when we'll start ordering, and then we'll stop ordering around middle of June like we did this year. Sorry, just got on. Any frog bits soon? Well, we went over that. Right now we're dealing with aphids on the floating plants, so until we deal with the aphids, I'm not shipping any out because they're annoying. I mean, they haven't killed anything. They're just annoying, and I don't want to annoy people with them, so... Hey, Master, how to remove black hair algae? It's really necessary to maintain NPK 10 to 1 to 13. How can I get down iron on my aquarium? Oh, geez, well, Gabriel, you got a ton of questions. So, black hair algae, do you mean black beard algae? Because black hair algae and black beard algae are two different things. Is it really necessary to maintain the NPK? The NPK, well, yeah, plants use that, but the 10 to 1 to 13 ratio, I don't go really by that. I go off what the plants look like. If they start yellowing, I would add in more nitrogen. I would add in more iron. Iron and nitrogen both promote green growth. If they, for whatever reason, started to die back a little bit or whatever, I'd probably dose more potassium or phosphorus, because typically, like, any sort of disease is because the plants are weak, and phosphorus, I think it's NPK. Potassium, what is it? Phosphorus aids in root development. Potassium aids in plant health. So, I think. I might be wrong. You're drinking from a tea from a gallon jug? Yep, that's right. 64 fluid ounces, 2 quarts. What's the best plant for red cherry shrimp? I would say moss, any sort of moss balls, would be excellent. There's a lot of surface area for them to graze on. A lot of bits and pieces get stuck in them, so they're really good for them. How do I get iron down in my aquarium? Well, plants will absorb iron over time. And you really, I mean, you can dose too many nutrients, but typically iron you'd have to dose a lot of to really be a problem. And yes, Octonation. The reason why I'm drinking out of the jug is because Margaret hates when I put a bottle in the fridge with like this much left in it. She's like, why don't you just finish it? And I tell her no, because I like to annoy her. So I stick it back in the fridge. And so she went to throw this out. I'm like, that's still perfectly good iced tea. You're not throwing it out. So that's why I'm drinking it from the jug. Because I didn't feel like putting it in a glass. So what? How do you propagate down a jungle bell? I want some, but I don't want to buy a lot from the start. I kind of just want to let it grow and take over itself. You just buy a couple of plants and just plant them down. They'll send out runners like other jungle valves, and you just leave them be, let them do the thing. Once the runners become established and have decent growth, you could cut the umbilical cord and spread them out, and then those will start to send out runners as well. Will you ever start selling fish tanks such as ADA, UNS, or Asta? Well, I can sell you UNS. I am an authorized retailer of them. You just gotta message me. Right now, I don't have them on my site just because of shipping logistics. Because it's a drop shipping program. You order from me, I get the order over my supplier, and then they send them out. Just because I don't have a facility to stock them right now. I just don't advertise it because it's just a logistical nightmare. If I put them up and like 20 people ordered in a week, it's a bit of a problem. But for the one-offs that people are like, oh, I really want that tank, yeah. So, which is more important, light, CO2, or nutrients? Well, all three. They're all vital parts of growing plants. The most important being light. You need a good light to grow plants well, so that would be the best. Miami Beach native says, how are beautiful Margaret and Nova doing? Well, you missed Nova. She was just on the stream about 20 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago. And they're doing good. They're doing good. Nova's getting big. She's starting to do all sorts of baby things that it's like, oh my God, you're growing up too fast. And yeah, so that's where we're at currently with them. So my next thing is I'm not ready for these plants, so I don't even know where I'm going to put them. I got to keep them somewhere with high humidity. So I think I might I've got something in my eye. I've had something in my eye for the last 2 days. I got to keep these somewhere with high humidity. Lewis says, what is a good carpeting plant for a discus setup? Well, Lewis, like I said earlier, we did a top 5 video on our top 5 easiest carpeting plants. As far as a discus tank goes, that's a bit more complicated because, one, your temperatures are probably a bit higher than normal. 2, it's probably a big tank, which means you probably don't have a whole lot of light because the tank is so tall. And 3, I doubt you're running CO2 because, on such a big tank with discus and all that, it's not the typical setup. So, as far as carpeting plants, I would say try 4-leaf clover. That's a really easy one. Monte Carlo. And, yeah. Those would probably be the only 2. Dwarf sedge could work too. But it really depends on things. Don't trip. Okay. How to get pH down apart from CO2 injection. You can add in driftwood, cholla wood, Indian almond leaves, banana leaves, amaranth leaves, guava leaves. Pretty much any sort of leaf litter will lower the pH as they release tannins. We sell a bunch of those, although I think we're almost out of everything. But yeah. Okay, how would be the best way to contact you to order a UNS tank? Just message me either their email or Facebook or Instagram, any one of the 3. A good soil can be used for how much time? I mean, I need to rebuild a tank after how many years? So a lot of people would argue that the substrate's only good for a couple years. Um, I I don't necessarily agree with that because you could add in root tabs and root tabs will help. Also, I've had the tank downstairs, the 55, running for 3 years with me just adding root tabs every once in a while when I remember to, and plants are still growing fine in them. And I was using EcoComplete. So I would say just get a substrate and just get some root tabs and put root tabs in there once in a while. And that would be fine. Do you have any saltwater aquariums? If not, have you ever thought about it? I don't have any saltwater. I do have a fascination for corals, and I would love to have a saltwater tank because corals are amazingly cool to me. But I just I don't have room at the moment. Doesn't really make sense in the current environment until if I was to sell corals, yeah, it would be great. But currently, no, we don't have plans. I will say there is something that I'm working on that takes an element of salt water and puts it in fresh water. So, really, my dog is scared right now. He's in his little hidey hole over there. What's wrong, Walter? What's wrong? My dog is a scaredy cat. That's interesting. There's like a little thing in here that you can you can create clips right from here. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I got a black moor goldfish for my other goldfish, and I didn't quarantine him, so will he be fine? That depends on where you got it from. If it's a big box store, I would say you definitely want to keep an eye out. Although did I quarantine? Trying to remember, did I quarantine? Yes, I did quarantine. I did quarantine when I got the other goldfish for Lucky downstairs. That particular goldfish came from a big box store, and I did quarantine for I think a month. I would just keep an eye out, look for any signs of anything acting differently, and treat accordingly. Have you had success with any plants surviving a koi tank? Well, I've never had a koi tank, but I do have goldfish in with plants. And somebody actually asked after that, your goldfish don't destroy the plants? No, so I've gotten plants that I know the goldfish really won't bother, like Anubis, some lily type plants, what else did I put in there? Boos. I've also had a nacris in there. They haven't bothered that as much. Some swords they've been fine with. So it's just a matter of getting the right size plants for the right goldfish. Why does the stream feel so lonely? Last time I tuned in a couple months ago, you had hundreds watching. What happened? No, we've maintained probably about 50-ish people roughly. Also, I did notice since we stopped doing it every week, the attendance has died down a little bit. So I don't know if that's partly because we don't do it every week or whatnot. But I'm actually thinking about removing the live streams entirely from YouTube and doing them maybe on Twitch or Facebook. I haven't decided yet, but I think I may want to switch it eventually to there just because, I don't know. I was also thinking about making the live streams exclusive to just live. So when the live streams are over, I take the video and make it on private. So that way it's kind of like, a live experience. And then after that, that's it. No reruns. So I was thinking about playing around with those ideas. This plant is so cool. I can't wait to really get these plants in the idea that I have, but I gotta do that. What do you think about using Purigen in planted tanks? It's bad for plants. People say it reduces the nutrients in the water. So I haven't done testing, but that's what I've heard, that it can reduce nutrient levels, much like carbon. I mean, I don't use anything. I actually have a big thing of carbon downstairs, like a big, like a tub that's full of all the carbon pouches that come with all the filters. And that's what I put them all. What is the best all-around plant fertilizer? Well, I would say mine. I don't think I have any here, but we have our Vital formula, which is all-in-one, easy to use, has a pump top, pretty good. We use it for all the tanks downstairs, the grow tanks, and yeah. Do you happen to know of any fish medications that are plant safe? I know herb tanna is. I really like that for ick. They do have a fungus one, I believe, as well, because that one is for parasites. And that's the one that I like to use. And then for anything else, I have some other meds that I, usually will take the fish out and treat in a quarantine tank. What's the reason for not wanting to post live videos to YouTube after the fact? I was thinking more of if I do it where the video is only live while we're live and then it's not available for replay, I think it would make more people want to attend it, because then it's like, oh, I can't watch it afterwards. Let me actually attend the live stream. And that way it also, I don't know, it makes it a little more exclusive type thing, I feel. Is it me, or did something weird happen to the stream? Did something weird happen to the stream? My nose is so itchy, I don't know why. I don't know. What's wrong with the stream? Hello, J. Cruz. I have no more iced tea. I have this one little bit. I think I should just stick this bottle in the fridge and annoy Margaret and be like, oh, there's nothing left. That's the end of the iced tea. Good thing I have another bottle. What's up, Tyler? How's it going? I never quarantine my fish and they are fine. I got them all from PetSmart. That's completely fine. I mean, I don't quarantine fish all the time either. I try to when I can, but yeah. Will you have Renaki, how do you spell it, in stock? I have some Scarlet Temple coming in, but I do have some, I think it's Lila Cena and some bronze downstairs, which is unaccounted for. So if you want any, just shoot us an email, Jenny. Are you going to get more air plants in? So we just updated the inventory last night with whatever we had left over from Reefapalooza, because believe it or not, we brought that to Reefapalooza and we sold a ton of it. People loved it. So next year I'm bringing a lot more with me. So we had a little bit left over. I put those up last night, and I guess I'll probably place another order because we're down to maybe like 10 or 15 of the plants. They, do sell, just they kind of take a while to move, so it's not the wisest investment, but we'll probably have some within the next couple weeks. Oh my god, are you drunk on iced tea? No, definitely not drunk. Just a little tired, but that's about it. More tutorials, please. Well, what kind of tutorials would you like, Gabriel? How do you carpet pygmy chain swords? Just plant them and let them do their thing. They grow incredibly fast. I want to buy some Savinia, but you're out. Do you know when you get some in? We'll have some in tomorrow because that's coming from our nursery. That plant isn't infected, like I said, with the other floating plants that we typically grow, like frogbit and dwarf water lettuce, and other plants like that we grow ourselves. Those aren't infected with the things. But what if you answer a question during it and someone wants to go back to it, or someone has work, etc.? Seems like you could avoid repeating yourself. Shrug. This is true. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like ideas to make it more appealing to people to watch it live, because I don't know. I mean, I guess people watch it after the fact for whatever reason, but I'd like to see more attendance every week. It would be nice, but I mean, it's fine. Even with 40 to 50 people that we have, typically that's Kevin on Instagram says, can you do a video or a small series on caring for aloe and other succulents? I could, but I don't have the best of luck with succulents. My aloe plant's growing quite well. My succulents, I think they need more light. Which of the tools you sell is to plant plants in better, curved or straight ones? Either one for the tweezers will really work. I like to use both for different reasons. But yeah. Good plants for pond tub. Water celery. What else? Red dwarf stem. What is it? Dwarf red stemmed parrot's feather. Really nice one that I really like. What else? I like the. I think it's called Sweet Flag. And what else do I have downstairs that is nice? I like the lilies too, or the rain lilies, the irises. Those are good too. There's quite a bit. I typically like water celery though a lot. Best practice for quarantine is 6 to 8 weeks, and it has kept many parasites out of their other tanks. It's up to discretion. Yeah, I agree. My beta flares at their own food or even plants. I don't know. They flare at everything. Well, that's what betas do. But, alright, so we're at the hour mark, guys. Thank you so much for watching, as always. If you enjoyed this video, or this live stream, make sure you've hit the subscribe button if you're new. Give me a like if you wouldn't mind, and I have a couple of videos in the pipe work coming that available on your website. It should be. Most of those plants are. But yeah, I have a video on the tank behind me that's going to be coming out soon, and yeah, so I think that's really about it for now. I gotta go take care of my baby. Gotta put these plants somewhere where they're gonna stay humid. Otherwise they will die. I don't know where to put them, but I'll figure that out. Alright guys, I'll see you on 2 Wednesdays from now. Yeah, 2 Wednesdays from now. I'll see you later.